Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Shodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Shodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Munatira Manachari Munatira Manachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Kishoranandana Raja Jana Ranjana Munatira Manachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Purnamaham Raj Charja Stotra Shri AC Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavin Ki Jai Nama Charja Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sriva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Gangamai Ki Jai Jamunamai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Broken, of course. Everything has a problem. There's no decent microphone stand in this guy because everyone abuses them. This one's fine. No more messing around, please. Right. Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today is the disappearance day of Srila Madhavendra Puri, so they haven't assigned a verse from Bhagavatam. They've asked me to speak about that topic. As Chaitanya Charitamrita and Madhya Lila, we hear about the glories of Madhavendra Puri. Yasmai datum choryan shirubandam gopinata kshira chorabhidho pyut Sri Gopala pradurasid vashasan yat premnatam madhavendram natosmi. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Madhavendra Puri, who was given a pot of sweet rice stolen by Sri Gopinath, celebrated thereafter as Kshirachor. Being pleased by Madhavendra Puri's love, Sri Gopal, the deity at Govardhan, appeared to the public vision. Om Gyanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurn Miditam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadhati Shupadam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitamstam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lolita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Deen Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Anumami Hori Priya Vancha Kolpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sri Madhavendra Puri is one of the elders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, predecessors. Before Krishna appears, he arranges for his seniors to appear, and seniors of the seniors, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mai, and so on. Or in Mahaprabhu's pastimes, Jagannath Mishra, Sachi Devi, Advaita Acharya. And Madhavendra Puri is the spiritual master of Advaita Acharya, and also the spiritual master of Ishvara Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Maharaj. So the history is told. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was on his way to Puri, and he stopped in a place called Remuna. Remuna is in Orissa, and it's the place of the Gopal deity. When I was on Padayatra in 1985, 86, visited Remuna. In Jagannath Puri, the Pandavas are very what's the word? Well, among other things, antagonistic to ISKCON devotees and foreigners in general. But in Remuna, the pujaris are very, very friendly. The whole village we found was so friendly and so sweet, actually. Pujaris were sweet. The sweet rice was sweet. Everything sweet in that village. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went there and danced and chanted. And he told the history of Madhavendra Puri in relation to the deity as he'd heard it from his spiritual master, his own spiritual master, Ishvara Puri. The deity is famous as Kshir Chor Gokana. Chor means thief. If there's some pickpocket in India, and chor, chor, it's theft, thief, 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 thief. People may catch the thief. So, so this deity, Gopal, is known as Kshir Chor. Kshir, well, Prabhupada translates it as sweet rice, which is, does the job. When you actually go to Remuna, it's a kind of, what do they call it? Yeah, Amrita Keli, but it's not a rice preparation, really. It's not, cooked down with milk. And it's very, Amrita, nectarian. And devotees would take a little of this and be in ecstasy. And pujaris were wide-eyed to see like European devotees doing, a whole pot of this Amrita Keli, 2 pots. Astonished. But anyway, kind of kshir. You can say sweet rice. So the Madhavendra Puri was chanting, dancing in the temple and ecstasy. And then he went to a local kund, Govinda Kund, and took his bath. And then he sat under a tree to take his rest for the night. So while he was sitting beneath the tree, a cowherd boy came and put a pot of milk before him and said to him, I've please drink this milk, and asked him, why don't you beg some food to eat? And what kind of meditation are you doing? And seeing how beautiful the boy was, Madhavendra Puri just forgot about hunger and thirst and anything else. Who are you and where do you live? And how did you know that I was fasting? Because Madhavendra Puri's program was that he would eat if somebody gave him something to eat. He wouldn't beg. So how did you know I was fasting? The boy said, well, sir, I'm a cowherd boy. I live in this village. And in my village, no one fasts. In this village, a person can beg food from others and eat. Some people just drink milk. But if a person doesn't ask anyone for food, then I supply him. So the women who came here to gather water saw you, and they gave me this milk and sent me to you. So I have to go soon to milk the cows, but I'll come back and I'll take the pot from you. And then the boy left, and Madhavendra Puri's heart was filled with wonder. So he drank the milk and washed the pot and put it aside. He was looking toward the path. When will the cowherd boy come back and take his pot? But the boy never came back. And then Madhavendra Puri he couldn't sleep. He just sat and chanted Hare Krishna. And at the end of the night, he dozed a little and sort of, you know, his external activities stopped, half sleeping. And then while he was a little dozing, the same cowherd boy appeared in his dream and uh, took him by the hand and took him to a bush in the jungle and said, I live in this bush, and so I'm suffering very much from severe cold and rain and winds and heat. So please bring the people out of the village and get them to take me out of this bush, and then uh, have them situate me nicely on the top of the local hill. And please build a temple on that hill and install me in the temple, and then wash me with large amounts of cold water so that my body will become clean. That will be nice. The history, I don't know if it's given later in the, yeah, it's given. So for many days I've been watching you and wondering, when will Madhavendra Puri come here to serve me? So I've accepted your service due to your ecstatic love for me, so I'll appear here. I was installed by Vajra, and here I'm the authority. Vajra is the grandson of Lord Krishna. He installed this deity, Gopal, at Remuna. That deity is now worshipped in Nathdwar, in Rajasthan, where he's known as Srinathji. He's worshipped by the followers of Sri Balabhacharya, Krishna Mark. So my name is Gopal. I'm the lifter of Govardhan Hill, Giridhari. And I was installed by Braja. Here, I'm the authority. When the Muslims attacked, the priest serving me hid me in the bush in the jungle and then ran away out of fear of the attack. And since then, I've been staying in the bush, and it's good that you've come here. Now just remove me carefully. And then the boy disappeared. Madhavendra Puri woke up and began to think about that dream. And he began to lament that I saw Lord Krishna directly, but I couldn't recognize him. So then he fell to the ground in ecstatic love and shed tears for some time. But then he fixed his mind on executing the order of Gopal and became tranquil. There are ecstatic signs here of devotional service, but as Prabhupada writes, devotional service is not just sentiment, but it's practical activity in Krishna's service. So Madhavendra Puri was thinking about the order. He thought about the boy, and I couldn't recognize him, and it was Krishna, but then he also thought, I got an order, now I have to do something. There's some service that Gopal wants from me. So he took his bath in the morning and went into the village, got all the people together, and said, the proprietor of this village, Govardhan Hari, is lying in the bushes. So let's go and rescue him. The bushes are dense, and we won't be able to enter the jungle. So bring some choppers and spades to clear the way. This is practical. It's not just, again, if we're going to do this job, we need the right tools, we need enough people. So let's go. So hearing this, all the people went with him with great pleasure, and under the directions of Madhavendra Puri, they cut down the bushes, cleared a path, got into the jungle, and saw the deity covered with dirt and grass, and they were struck with wonder and pleasure. So they uh, cleaned the body of the deity, and some said, he's very heavy, no one person can move him. So some of the stronger men got together to carry him to the top of the hill, and Madhavendra Puri went with them. And they got a big stone and made it into a throne for the deity and installed the deity there. And they put another big stone behind him for support. And all the Brahmin priests of the village gathered together with 9 water pots. They must have been big water pots. 9 water pots, kumbhas. Is that what it says, kumbha? Ghata. Okay, water pots, which they filled with water from the Govinda Kund Lake, duly filtered, and they installed the deity with 900 pots of water. Yeah. They gathered together with 9 water pots and brought the water there and filtered it. Navagata, 9 pots. But then, in the next verse, Shatagata, Navashatagata, 900. So this was a big installation ceremony, a lot of bathing for the deity, water from Govinda Kund, and musical sounds, bugles and drums, and women singing. And people were singing and dancing, and all the milk and yogurt and clarified butter in the village were brought to the festival. This is a rural village, so in all these villages there'll be cows, and where there's cows there'll be milk and butter and yogurt. These are the natural opulences of the village. So they brought all of these things for a festival. Various foods and sweets, as well as other kinds of presentations, were brought there. I'm unable to describe all these. We think that, if you want to, well, I won't go that way, but in the villages, people are very expert in preparing various kinds of food. And especially in the, some villages are more together than other villages. But when the villages are really together, they can make huge arrangements for uh, food to offer to the deity and distribute. I was on Padayatra in one village. They, just because the Padayatra was there, actually, they made a big celebration. And and this is a village, it's not a city with all, but they made a huge arrangements for prasadam. They dug a big pit and lined it with uh, clean white cloth, and then they cooked so many uh, pots of rice, and threw each pot, all the rice in the pit on the cloth, and then the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. They had a whole, cover that with a cloth. So they had so much rice, and they made so many vegetables and so many sweets and so many things. And then they had a big courtyard. They cleaned the whole courtyard, and then they arranged for as many people as could sit in lines in the courtyard. And then they served prasadam very nicely, going around and serving everyone prasadam. Everyone's satisfied. And everyone got up together chanting the holy name of Krishna. Then everyone left. Then the people in charge washed the place, then the next batch. Again, the same. It's so many batches of people. In that way, they were able to distribute prasadam very nicely to hundreds or thousands of people. And this is a village, but the village has these natural opulences, milk products, um, rice, grains, vegetables, and good cooks, and good organizers, people who knew how to do it. So they had a big festival. The villagers brought various kinds of food, sweetmeats, all sorts of things to present to the deity, more than uh, could be described. They brought a lot of tulsi leaves, flowers, all sorts of garments, all these things just locally procured. And then Madhavendra Puri personally began the Abhishek. And everything was inauspicious, was driven away by the chanting of mantra, and the bathing ceremony began. The deity was massaged with oil so that his body became glossy. And then Panchagavya, Panchamrita, these were all cow products, and ghee and water and holy name, pots of these things, ghee and water and so on. So a big bathing ceremony. Then again, they massaged the deity's body with scented oil, so that his body became glossy. And then finally, scented water from conch shell. And then they dressed the deity very nicely and gave him sandalwood pulp and tulsi garlands and flower garlands, fragrant flower garlands, not imported from Africa through Holland, uh, through New York, flower garlands, but local from local flowers, fragrant. There may have been champak and so many. And then incense and lamps and food, yogurt, milk, sweetmeats, scented drinking water in new pots, water for washing the deity's mouth, and pan mixed with spices, uh, which Krishna takes and we don't. Tambula pan, and then they had bhog arti, and everyone offered prayers and obeisances, offering dandavats in full surrender. So huge arrangement. As soon as the people of the village understood that the deity was going to be installed, they brought their entire stocks of rice, dal, wheat, so much that the entire surface of the hill was filled. So you can understand this is, we had this experience in Padayatra. If we went to a village of 3,000 people for a program, then 5,000 people would come to the program. People from everywhere would gather for kirtan. And if we went to a city of 1,000,000 people, then 40 people would come. So the villages are so nice. All the villagers brought so much that the entire top of the hill was covered. And the potters in the village brought all sorts of cooking pots, not the steel pots, but the one time, and then toss it. What do they call them? Ecological pots made of earth. So the handmade by the potters. Now that would be like a $300 item today in New York City, one pot. But this is what they were using, pots, and the potters came and brought the cooking pots, and cooking began. 10 Brahmins cooked the food grains, 5 the dry and liquid vegetables made from spinach, roots, fruits collected from the forest. Uh, Someone made bara and bori by mashing dal. You, you get that sometimes in your vegetable preparations or dal preparations. There's little chunks of fried dal. Have you had that? Um, or sometimes there are whole preparations made from this bara, bash bara, mentioned by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Different kinds of things you can make with it. So the Brahmins were very expert. They made all kinds of preparations, all kinds of food to offer to the deity. And they just gathered all the ingredients from the forest. Different kinds. We saw this, I was in Alachua some years ago, and some devotees came from Mayapur. Alachua is like a suburban, little more than suburban rural area. And so between some of the houses, there's like trees and stuff growing, and sort of a messy scene. And devotees avoid going through all those places because you get obstructed by the bushes and so on. But the devotees went from Mayapur there, and they went into that area and they found all sorts of different kinds of vegetables to cook. So those who are expert, Krishna is providing. You just have to catch it. So they made all kinds of spinach and roots and so on. Spinach, we think of spinach, it's green and it's spinach, but there's like in Bengal and Orissa, this spinach and that spinach, 10 different, they'll have a feast. Jayadvaita Maharaj has some disciples. The Brajamandal Purikama would stop at their place along the way, and they'd make a feast of, 10 different kinds of spinach items, along with other things. So they brought all these things for Gopal, and 5 to 7 men made a huge number of chapatis, completely covered with ghee, and the vegetables, rice and dal, were also laden with ghee, and the cooked rice was stacked on palasha leaves on new cloths spread on the ground. So this is practical. The cloth is not just for wearing. You can make clean places just by spreading clean cloth. If you're doing puja or something, just put some clean cloth. Or again, put rice directly on the cloth. Good. So that's what they did. They stacked these things on palasha leaves on new cloth. Around the stack of cooked rice were stacks of chapatis and vegetables and liquid vegetables and in different pots. And then pots of yogurt, milk, buttermilk, shakarani, sweet rice, cream, solid cream, alongside the vegetables. In England, it's a very good place for, here, cream, you go to the store, you get cream. But in some places, especially I've seen in England, there's this kind of cream and that kind of cream and clotted cream and what do they call it? Anyway, there's so many different kinds of cream, not just one or two. And the clotted cream is like super thick. Yeah, kinds of cream, all offered to Krishna. So in this way, they celebrated the Annakut ceremony. And Madhavendra Puri personally offered everything. Anna means grains, especially rice, and Kutta means a hill. So the Govardhan Puja is also called Annakut Mahotsav. So here they performed also in Remuna this Annakut ceremony. Huge amounts of rice and huge amounts, stacks of chapatis and pots of different kinds of vegetables, and then all different kinds of sweets, all offered to Gopal by the local villagers. And although Sri Gopal ate everything, by the touch of his transcendental hand, everything remained as before. How Gopal ate everything while at the same time food remained was transcendentally perceived by Madhavendra Puri Goswami. Nothing remains a secret to the devotees. Lord. So all this was arranged in one day. You know, we're going to have a festival, so weeks in advance, months in advance, we're making plans, and who will do this, and who will do that, and who will cook, and how will we get donations, and who will get the permits, and all that. They arranged all this in one day. Certainly all this was accomplished by the potency of Gopal. No one but a devotee can understand this. Even our weeks and months of preparations, it's only successful by the grace of Gopal, personality of God. Otherwise, difficult. Madhavendra Puri offered water to the deity and so many things. I'm going to shortcut some of this time. And then they made a temporary temple, and by covering a bed with a straw mattress and so on. So the Lord took rest, and all the Brahmins who'd made the prasadam said, "Now feed everyone sumptuously, from the children on up." So everyone gathered to take prasadam, and the Brahmins and their wives were fed first, and then everybody, all the people in the villages, and also people from other villages. That's how you get a village of 3,000 and a festival of 7,000. People come from other villages. And seeing the influence of Madhavendra Puri, everyone was struck with wonder, and they saw that all this had been done by the mercy of Madhavendra Puri. And Madhavendra Puri initiated all the Brahmins who were there into the Vaishnava cult and engaged them in various kinds of service to the deity. And then people from the neighboring villages came to know that the deity is there. Everyone came to see the deity, and they asked, begged Madhavendra Puri, give them a day to perform the Anakut ceremony. Different villages, give us a day, give us a day, give us a day. So this is going on. So he didn't eat anything that day, but at night he lay down and took some milk preparation. And the next morning, people came from another village with all kinds of food and so on and so on and so on. So again, the next day, an Anakut ceremony, and on it goes. Throngs of people and everyone in ecstasy from all these villages coming to perform the, and not only from the villages, but from other provinces. They came bringing all sorts of things. People came from Mathura. Mathura is far away from Remuna, quite distant. Vrindavan from Remuna is far. I don't know how many kilometers, but it's not a 2-day walk. It's far. They came. They were big capitalists, as still they are. And so they offered gold and silver and ornaments and scented items. And Gopal became essentially rich, a rich Kshatriya, built a temple. Someone made cooking utensils. Someone made boundary walls. Someone gave cows. Every family residing in Brajabhumi contributed a cow. So the deity had thousands of cows. And 2 Brahmins in the renounced order came. Madhavendra Puri liked them, initiated them, put them in charge of the worship, and so it became very gorgeous. And for 2 years, this was going on. And then the deity appeared to Madhavendra Puri in a dream and said, I was in the bushes for so long and I'm hot. I've got, my body feels feverish. Please bring some camphor and sandalwood from South India to relieve that. Sandalwood with camphor. Sandalwood is very cooling. Camphor becomes very soothing. So bring some sandalwood pulp from Puri along with camphor. And no one else can do this but you. So Madhavendra Puri is very pleased. Okay, the deity's given me some more service. So he sets off. Along the way, he stops in Bengal. That's where he meets Advaita Acharya, who asks for initiation and receives it. And then Madhavendra Puri comes to, see where he comes. He comes to the place of Gopinath in just near Puri. And there's so many temples in the surrounding area. So he visits the temple of Gopinath, and he's seeing all the nice things that were offered to Gopinath. And he's thinking, he's heard that there's a very nice preparation offered to the deity. He asks the priest, what are you offering to Gopinath? So he can think, well, we could offer, we compare, pujaris compare notes. So I'll offer them to Gopal. And in the evening, the priest said, there are 12 pots of sweet rice in earthen pots, and that's called Amrita Keli because it's so nectarian. It's celebrated as Gopinath Kshir, and it's not offered anywhere else in the world. So Madhavendra Puri was, while that's going on, they came with the offering, they're offering to the deity, and Madhavendra Puri thought, if I could, after it's offered, if I can take a little taste of that, then I could figure it out and make it for Gopal. But then he became ashamed that the food is being offered to the deity, and I'm thinking about tasting it. So that's an aparad, it's offensive. So then he became ashamed, and after the arti was over, he went away. And he just sat in the marketplace, chanting Hare Krishna. And he didn't beg any food because we already talked about that. But then the priest, the pujari, had a dream. And the pujari told him that I've kept some of this sweet rice behind my dress, behind the curtain, and you didn't see it because I tricked you, but it was there. So please, that pot is reserved for Madhavendra Puri, please give it to him. So the pujari got up and took bath and went into the deity room and saw the pot. And then he went to the marketplace looking for Madhavendra Puri. Whoever is Madhavendra Puri, you're so fortunate. The Gopinath has stolen this sweet rice for you. So please come, please come. So Madhavendra Puri was there, and the priest gave him the sweet rice, offering obeisances, and Madhavendra Puri was in ecstasy, and priest Pujari was like struck with wonder, and Madhavendra Puri returned to the temple and ate the sweet rice that Krishna had offered him, and then he broke the pot, washed the pot, broke it into pieces, and every day after that he would take a little bit of the pot and be in ecstasy. So finally, he goes on from there and he reaches Puri itself and sees Lord Jagannath, and again he's in ecstasy. And there also, people, although he left the place of Gopinath to avoid, he thought that in the morning, when everybody comes, they'll hear about all this, and then it'll be, oh, Madhavendra Puri, Madhavendra Puri ki jai, and everybody will be offering obeisances and touching his feet, and I better get out of here. So he got out, but then when he went to Puri, his reputation was already there. So what could he do? Krishna had made him famous. So then everybody made arrangements to provide him with camphor and sandalwood pulp and passage papers, because even now today there's like items that are so valuable that you need special permits and so on. So sandalwood pulp and camphor, to go from one state to another, one province to another, you need papers. So they provided, people had government connections, they provided the paper, others provided the sandalwood, everything, traveling expenses, everything he needed. And so he's carrying this substantial amount of sandalwood. And then he reaches the Gopinath temple, and they gave him nice sweet rice. And then he had another dream, and the Gopinath deity said, you don't have to go back to Remuna, taking all this trouble carrying the camphor and the sandalwood. You just smear that on my body, and there's no difference between me and Gopal. So when you smear it on me, then Gopal will feel relieved. So Madhavendra Puri arranged for that. He gave all the camphor and sandalwood to the pujaris, so that all during the summer they could cool the deity with these things. He provided money for so that arrangements could be made. People have to grind the sandalwood and so on. So naturally, the pujaris were happy. Our deity is going to get this sandalwood every day. And Madhavendra Puri stayed till the whole stock of sandalwood was used up, and which was the whole time of Chaturmasya. No, he stayed till the sandalwood was used up, and then at the end of the summer he went to Jagannath Puri. After the summer comes the Chaturmasya, so he stayed for Chaturmasya in Puri. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he went to Remuna, remembered all of these activities of Sri Madhavendra Puri, and shared them with his devotees. And he also shared a very confidential verse recited by Madhavendra Puri at the end of his life. Ai dina dayardra nata he, matura nata kadava lokshase, hridayam tvad aloka kataram, dvaita brahmyati kim karomyaham. O my Lord, most merciful Master, Master of Mathura, when shall I see you again? Because of my not seeing you, my agitated heart has become unsteady. O most beloved, what shall I do now? So verse is considered very important in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, expressing the mood of love for Krishna in a feeling of intense separation. And this feeling, this mood has been strong in the Gaudiya Sampradaya since the time of Madhavendra Puri. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. We have a couple of minutes. Are there any questions? Yes, Rama.
The beautiful painting over here, which is in the original Chaitanya Charitamrita, is the Pujari taking the sweet rice on the Lord's order to give to Madhavendra Puri.
Capturing the sweet rice illustration.
And our Radha Govinda were used as the model.
Yeah, Radha Govinda are the model for Gopinath in this page. Oh, thank you. Anything else? Okay. So now, by the arrangement of the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, all of you can go take prasad. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Madhavendra Puri ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanande.